Hello, Mayor and Council. Vancouverites do love cycling, bicycles, some of the bike lanes, but this appears to be a lose-lose proposition for the city. If the program is a failure, then we all lose. If the program is a success, then we will have succeeded in putting many successful local bike rental shops out of business. Rental shops ask for three things in this consultation: that they be located a fair distance away, 3 blocks or more, not to be in the Stanley Park area, not to focus on short-term tourist clients. This proposal will specifically target tourists, as the existing private businesses can't compete with your short-term focused business model. The document and presentation from the city is a work of fiction. The bike rental shops are pillars of our community, working for decades to scratch a living in Vancouver's tough and overtaxed business climate. Rather than stand behind local private businesses that support Vancouver, the Vision Party and Mayor have decided to give a minimum $10 million away to fund a private enterprise from Oregon, United States. 1 year ago, councillors from the Vision Party visited locally owned rental shops, and Councillor Heather Deal told them not to worry because they would be taken care of. They're not sure what sense she meant. I've been speaking to these owners, and it makes me want to cry when I listen to them. You're about to destroy their livelihoods. They have a tough enough time running their businesses without your kind of assistance. Can I raise this thing? I saw somebody do it before. Do you think? Thanks a lot. These owners are emotionally distraught, and you're about to make all of their businesses virtually worthless if you approve this. They could be due compensation. The City of Vancouver could be liable for compensation to all these owners for a loss of business cash flow, profit, and their business equity. The city will be liable for emotional distress on the owners, their employees, families, associated spin-off businesses. Furthermore, this is not allowed by Vancouver Charter. This must not go forward today, as it is obvious from anyone who reads the Vancouver Charter and the administrative report. They would come to the obvious conclusion that this deal is against the allowable rules. Municipalities may only provide assistance to business in accordance with the requirements of the Community Charter and Local Government Act, subject to certain statutory exceptions. Section 25 of the Community Charter prohibits municipal councils from providing any grant, benefit, advantage, or other form of assistance to a business unless expressly authorized under this or another act. Similarly, under Section 182 of the Local Government Act, a regional board may not provide assistance to an industrial, commercial, or business undertaking unless otherwise permitted under the Act. What constitutes business and assistance is determined by the respective acts in the case law. I have some questions. Has the city made modifications to the Vancouver Charter to allow this to go through? And if so, then please share it today. Have all the councillors received a legal opinion on this matter as to whether they can contravene the Charter like they propose to do today? If yes, then make that legal opinion public. And if not, then why not? I want to inform all councillors that if they act against the advice of the opinion and advice of City Legal Counsel, that they may be found personally liable for any and all expenses or losses of this program. So I suggest that they vote very carefully today. This is found in Part 3, Additional Powers and Limits of Powers, Part 3, Division 1, Partnering and Other Agreements, General Prohibitions Against Assistance to Business and Exceptions. I'll let you guys read that because it looks like you haven't. I'm not going to spend my 5 minutes on that. Conclusion, you are seriously risking lawsuit from bike rental companies, their suppliers, their employees, their families for distress and financial loss. This program will surely lose the city $10 million or more. This program is not allowed by the Vancouver Charter. If councillors are ignoring legal opinion, then they will become personally liable. I'm not sure who's leading the charge on this, but there's a new team of researchers and analysts working for free for the good of Vancouver to find out the reasons why you act in the way you do. I can see that some of the Vision councillors have been hesitant to support recent council votes. And if you're ever going to think for yourselves and break clean of Vision, then now is the time.
Thank you, Mr. Chernen. You have some questions from Councillor Carr. Yes, thanks, Mr. Chair. I have one question, and then so one question regarding your statements to do with the companies and the impact on the private bike rental companies. And you said that it was the short-term rentals that are a concern. Like the information we've been given is that under an hour is not a concern. And
no, actually, what they've been telling me is that the city, the people they've consulted with in the city, twisted it around completely. Everything 2 hours and under is their bread and butter.
Do you have any idea what proportion of their rentals?
I don't, but I mean, if the city has really been working on this for as long as they have and made such a big report, I don't know why they couldn't come to the conclusion that I did by simply speaking to the owners of a half dozen of these businesses in the last week. These guys they're absolute wrecks. They're beaten. They're scared. They think it's hopeless, and they pretty much, it's obvious their businesses will be destroyed.
Okay. Well,
if this is a success.
They did come, and we asked lots of questions when they did come in the initial stages.
Yeah.
I do remember the conversations. I just don't remember if it was under an hour or under 2 hours. But anyway,
under 2 hours. But I think the shorter
I'll ask the question of staff. The second point that you raised, you may not have been here this morning, but I did raise the issue. I have read that section of the charter.
Right.
I am aware of what you were speaking,
okay.
And I got reassurances from our city manager that the question of legality, ability of the city to undertake this contract and to provide the resources that it is committing to do is absolutely legal, and that there is no liability issue for council on this issue. That was the statement made this morning.
Well, you might want to think about that yourself by looking at it. But,
okay, anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Carr. Those are your questions. Next speaker is Ray Tomlin.